What if the biggest mistake you're making after 60 has nothing to do with money at all? It has to do with being seen. I'm Walter Kessler, 76 years old. Today I want to tell you about the year I sold a car I'd waited my entire life to own, 3 months after finally buying it. I'll tell you exactly why and exactly what it taught me before we're done here. So stay with me, because if you're over 60, there's a lesson underneath that story that almost nobody says out loud. And once you hear it, you won't be able to unhear it. Here it is, plain and simple. Looking poor on purpose might be one of the wisest decisions you ever make after 60. Now, before anyone gets upset with me, I'm not talking about hardship. I'm not telling you to deny yourself comfort, or throw out your belongings, or wear clothes with holes in them. That's not it at all. What I mean is much simpler. I mean reaching a point in life where you no longer feel the need to advertise your success to the world. So grab a pen. Here's exactly what we're covering today. 10 things I've learned about status, possessions, and the quiet freedom that shows up once you stop performing for people who were never really watching in the first place. And this is the one to really pay attention to. The single realization that made me sell that car in my driveway and never look back. There's also a mistake some people make once they finally understand all this. One that swings so far the other way, it creates a brand new kind of unhappiness. I'll show you exactly what that is before we're done. Quick thing before we go further. If you've ever bought something specifically because you wanted someone to notice it, comment the word yes below right now. No judgment. I did it for 30 years. Let's start at the beginning. Number 1. Almost nobody is paying attention to you. And that's actually good news. When I was younger, I believed what most people believe. I thought people noticed my car, my house, the watch on my wrist. I thought success had to be visible, or it didn't count. I spent years, like a lot of people do, building a picture that looked impressive from the outside. Then, one afternoon, sometime in my 50s, I sat in a coffee shop and watched the street outside. Expensive cars stopped at the light. Well-dressed people stepped out. And I noticed something that genuinely surprised me. Nobody cared. People glanced for a second, then went right back to their coffee, their phone, their own conversation. It hit me that I'd spent years performing on a stage where the audience had already gone home. Sit with that one for a second, because it changes everything that follows. Number 2. The things you buy to look successful quietly start owning you back. People think they're buying a car. What they're actually buying is insurance, maintenance, repairs, and a small, constant hum of worry in the back of their mind. People think they're buying a bigger house. What they're actually buying is more rooms to clean, more gutters to fix, more property tax, and less time to enjoy any of it. I had a colleague, Gerald, who chased this his whole career. Newest car every 2 years, sharpest suits in the office. People admired him from a distance. Privately, he told me once, over drinks, that he was exhausted, constantly working longer hours than he wanted just to keep paying for a life that was supposed to look effortless. Number 3. Time is the only currency that was ever actually real. When you're young, you trade time for money, and it feels like a fair trade because you assume there's an unlimited supply of time waiting for you later. Nobody tells you that assumption quietly expires. Somewhere in your 60s, the math flips. Money starts looking replaceable. Time stops looking that way at all. Number 4. There's one question that will tell you the truth about anything you own. If nobody ever saw it, would you still want it? If nobody knew what car sat in your driveway, would you have bought it? If nobody walked into your house, would you need all that space? This question makes people uncomfortable, and it should, because it reveals how many of our decisions actually belong to someone else, not to us, to some younger version of ourselves, who was still trying to prove something, to people who've long since stopped keeping score. Now here's where the car story comes back in. I told you I'd get to it. Stay with me, because number 5 is where it happened. Number 5. The day the thing I wanted my whole life made me feel exposed instead of proud. I finally bought it in my early 60s. A beautiful automobile, the kind that turns heads at a stoplight. I dreamed about it for decades, and for a few weeks, it felt exactly the way I'd imagined. Then, something shifted. Strangers wanted to talk about it. Some wanted to race me. People made assumptions about who I was based on what I was driving. One afternoon, after a genuinely unpleasant encounter on the highway, I pulled into my driveway, turned the engine off, and just sat there in silence. I asked myself one honest question. Who is actually benefiting from all this attention? Not long after that, I sold it. Never bought another one like it. Best financial decision I made that whole decade, and it had nothing to do with the money. If that story landed for you at all, good. Numbers 6 through 10 are where this gets personal. Number 6. Real luxury, it turns out, is almost always invisible. Waking up without anxiety. Spending an entire afternoon doing absolutely nothing. Saying no without feeling guilty about it. Walking into a room without needing anyone's approval before you speak. None of those things show up in a driveway. None of them get photographed. But every single one of them is worth more than anything that does. Number 7. Approval is one of the heaviest things a person can carry, and most of us never notice we're carrying it. You spend years chasing it, and then one day you set it down by accident, and you realize how much lighter you feel. You walk differently, you sleep better. You stop rehearsing conversations in your head about people who were never thinking about you to begin with. Number 8. Invisibility, later in life, is a gift disguised as a loss. A lot of people my age tell me they feel invisible. Careers behind them, kids grown and living their own lives. The world seems built for speed and youth and constant novelty. But here's what I tell them. When nobody expects you to prove anything anymore, you're finally free to become exactly who you are. Dress how you want. Drive what you want. Spend your money on afternoons instead of appearances. Number 9. Nobody, at the end, remembers the size of your house. They remember how you made them feel. Your kindness, your patience, the way you listened, the way you showed up. Those are the only things that actually stay behind. And number 10, the one that ties everything together. You don't become poor by looking ordinary. You become genuinely rich the moment you no longer need to look important. Now here's the question everyone watching this is quietly asking themselves. Does this mean I should just stop caring about anything I own? Get rid of it all? Live like I have nothing? The answer splits into two groups, and this matters because getting it wrong in either direction causes real damage. Group 1. People who hear this and find genuine peace in it. If that's you, you don't need to change much of anything today. Just keep asking yourself that one honest question before your next purchase. If nobody saw it, would I still want it? Group 2. People who swing too far the other way. And this is the mistake I promised you earlier. Mistake number 1. Confusing simplicity with self-punishment. Some people hear all this and start treating every comfort as guilt. That's not wisdom. That's just a different costume for the same old performance. Except now the audience you're performing for is the idea of being humble, instead of the idea of being impressive. Buy the good coffee. Fix the leaky faucet. Comfort was never the enemy here. Performance was. Mistake number 2. Isolating yourself and calling it freedom. Stepping off the treadmill of status is not the same thing as disappearing from people who love you. Quiet doesn't have to mean alone. And one more thing, and this one is serious, a genuine warning. As you let go of the outward signs of success, be careful who notices and why. There are people, sometimes even people close to a family, who see an older person quietly simplifying their life and mistake it for an opportunity. Don't let "I don't need to show off anymore" turn into "I stopped paying attention to my own accounts, my own paperwork, my own affairs." Protect what you've built, even while you stop needing to display it. Simplicity is a choice you make on purpose. It should never become an invitation for someone else to take advantage of you. So, here's the bottom line, in one sentence. You spend the first half of your life building a life that looks good from the outside. And if you're lucky, you spend the second half figuring out that nobody outside was ever really watching. And building one that actually feels good from the inside instead. That's not a loss. That's the whole point. I've made plenty of mistakes getting here. I wanted attention once too. I wanted people to see what I'd built. Age has a way of stripping off the unnecessary layers, one at a time, until only a few true things are left standing. Your health matters. Your relationships matter. Your time matters. Almost everything else is negotiable. So, 3 quick things before you go. And I need you to actually do these, not just nod along. 1. If any part of this made you think about something you're still chasing for the wrong reasons, hit like right now. It tells this platform to put it in front of somebody else who needs to hear it today. 2. Comment which number hit you hardest. I read every single one. 3. Subscribe. Because next week, I'm talking about the conversation I never had with my father before he passed. And the one sentence I wish I'd said out loud while I still had the chance. You came into this video thinking this was about money. It was never about money. It was about attention. And who you've been spending yours on. I'll see you in the next one.